Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Aloha Press podcast and YouTube show. First and foremost, I have to initiate.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Guess what? This is the second edition of this podcast. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, my microphone was not properly capturing my voice. I failed to realize this until I'd actually recorded the entire thing, all 47 minutes of it. So, we've added a second microphone in case this microphone fails again. So with that being said, let's kick off the show. We got Pebble Beach. Oh, the Pro Am, the clam bake, the mighty, mighty Pebble Beach. What an incredible place. I mean, I look at Pebble Beach and I realize if you're an amateur golfer, if you got a little coin in your pocket, if you turn a Bitcoin into a couple $1,000, you could go out and play this magical golf course. I mean, CBS, you get a lot of credit, but I could have gone out there with my iPhone and filmed some of this shit, and it would have been just as good because Pebble Beach in February is just absolutely amazing. I mean, there was no wind. These guys were wearing t-shirts. I mean, it was absolutely magical. The views alone are just incredible. I mean, there is nothing in the world like Pebble Beach. I mean, the cliffs. You got Carmel like next door. You got people running around on the beach. You got the people climbing up the cliffs to see golf, and it's just incredible. And like, just the atmosphere and just the clientele and just the ability to have access to that type of facility is just incredible. I mean, most places like that or not, I mean, hell, they're not even similar, but like, who the hell would let the public out there? I mean, it's remarkable. And I got to thinking, I was talking to a couple buddies out here in Georgia, and they were talking about the expenses that you incur when you're going to play Pebble Beach. And I told them, I would pay more money. Like, it's worth every single penny. It's just an incredible experience. It's an incredible journey. It's an incredible place. It's like one of those magical places to play golf. And sure enough, today did not disappoint. I mean, we had an incredible finish. I mean, 20 of the 50 top golfers in the world aren't even here, aren't even at this particular event, which shame on them. And we'll get to them later. But you've got the big names. I mean, you had a field of heavy hitters, some fan favorites. I mean, you had Jordan Spieth, Patrick Cantlay, you had Jason Day kind of in the mix there for a second. You had Joel Damon, and then you got, the hefty TCU grad, Mr. Tom Hoge going out there and getting it done. I mean, the dude was playing some amazing golf on the back nine. And when you look at that particular round of golf on finishing on Sunday, I mean, there were so many storylines out there that, you were really rooting for. And most of the time, people are going to root against the guy who hasn't won yet. And a guy who is not a household name. Tom Hoge is not a guy that you go, I want to watch that guy play golf. Because to be quite honest with you, he's incredibly boring to watch. He is just absolutely just kind of emotionless, Like I would assume he would be offended by watching this podcast. And that's okay. You got a guy like Jordan Spieth, though. I mean, coming down the stretch, I mean, holy shit. I mean, this guy's leading at one point in time. My number one pick this week, Joel Damon's he's got a 2-stroke lead on the 12th hole. But then Pebble Beach just kind of goes out there and bites you. And it's just one of those things that's remarkable that your game has to be absolutely perfect out there because the water hazard is the Pacific fucking Ocean. And it's not like, the cliffs or like an easy walk down to the beach to go get your golf ball. This place is freaking dangerous. And we saw that on Saturday with Jordan Spieth going out there and risking his life like he was a firefighter or a cop or an EMT. I mean, the dude hit a golf shot near a cliff, okay? Get over it. It's hole 8. It is what it is. And I mean, I don't know if you guys have seen it. If you're watching the YouTube show, sure enough, we'll show you the picture. And it looks terrifying. And he literally steps away from falling off a 70-foot cliff, which, that would be one hell of a podcast to react to. Like, Jordan Spieth is still alive after he fell off a cliff. He made bogey. I mean, I don't know what the storyline would be, but it is what it is. It's Pebble Beach, which is incredible. You got to give it out to Tom Hoge. I mean, he fought a couple guys who were playing really good golf. I mean, even, Matthew Fitzpatrick was in there, Jonathan Bird, Pat Perez, Andrew Putman. I mean, Bo Hosler, final group, and this guy just couldn't get it done. I mean, couldn't make eagle. He had a couple mistakes there at the end. Jordan Spieth had a big mistake on hole 17. And I look at this event, and it's just, God, I just can't get enough of it. I mean, it's really one of those special things, and I get it. Like, the amateur side of it is a bit ridiculous. I don't enjoy the first 3 days of watching this golf tournament, not because of the views. It's just the telecast just wants to pump down your throat the celebrities that are playing in this tournament, and you're like, that's not why I'm watching it. Like, yes, I'm a fan of Jake Owen and his country music, but I'm not a fan of his golf game. Like, I could care less. He's a 5 handicap. I'm here to watch the guys who are playing this sport professionally. Like, if I go to a concert and Jordan Spieth jumps up on the stage and wants to sing Friends in Low Places, I'm going to lose my mind. He's going to get shit thrown at him. So sorry, Jake Owen. I just don't want to see you play golf. I'll watch you in concert because I love that, but I don't like watching you play golf. And the shtick's up, right? Like, some of these celebrities, and I'm not going to name names. Can we move on? Like, your movie was popular like 40 years ago. It's one of those movies that, like, my kids' friends, like, they don't know who you are and they don't really care because you're not funny anymore. You're kind of creepy. It is what it is. I mean, those are the special things about the clam bake, which is really unique and really pretty special. I'm disappointed in those top 20 guys who took the money to head over to the Beheading Classic over in Saudi Arabia. It's just disappointing. I mean, guys like Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson, HV3, Bubba Watson. I mean, those are the guys who really make the Pebble Beach Pro Am. And, you've only got a handful of guys that are really bringing out the big crowds. And the corporate sponsors and the money, I get it, guys. You're going over there for a quick cash grab. But at the same time, the guys playing in this event are the sponsors for the rest of the year that are paying you these massive purses, like here at the Clam Bake. It's $8.7 million that's up for grabs. And you got to play 3 amazing golf courses. It's a special place. And don't get me wrong, it is what it is. I mean, this week it was rattled off. It was rumored. Ian Poulter's being offered supposedly $30 million. Dustin Johnson decided to, little expense. Some reporter asked Dustin Johnson if his offer was close to $30 million, and he just kind of laughed. He goes, "Really? I mean, have you seen the major championships I've won? Have you seen the shit that I've pulled off? I mean, I'm assuming they're offering Dustin Johnson a hair more than $30 million to be the representation." The big news, though, was Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, one, it looks like he might have a new logo. He's turning in the old, painter's cap for the old Saudi Arabia hat. Not sure how that'll look in modern America, but it is what it is. Bryson DeChambeau was also asked on Twitter if the rumors were true, if the $100 million offer from the Saudis to be the leader of this league. On Twitter, he responded to a meme account that they were wrong. You got to think, are we willing to let Bryson DeChambeau leave the PGA Tour? Do we want that? Do we need Bryson DeChambeau to just take a break from the tour, a break from the United States? Are we fed up with him? Would we be comfortable losing Bryson to another league? I'm going to say no. I think Bryson's a great thing for the game of golf. I think he does some crazy, weird shit. But I ultimately think he's great for America. I don't think he's going to take the $100 million. I don't know. I mean, he's kind of a young, dumb, hefty kid now. I don't know how many protein shakes you can buy with $100 million. I'm assuming a lot. But it's $100 million. And I'm assuming it's more. To be the face of a golf league, I mean, he's no Tiger Woods. He's no Phil Mickelson. But it seems like $100 million is a lot of money. I don't know. I don't know if we're going to see him leave. But I do know he withdrew this week from an injury. He had injured his wrist and his back. And for some reason, he came out. He didn't actually speak to the media, but he said in a statement, I'm guessing on Twitter, that the injury's not caused from a swing. He fell down. Was it? Never mind. It had to be from him gaining 40 pounds and adding 30 miles an hour to his swing. It has to be. I mean, there has to be some repercussions of him tacking on that kind of weight and that kind of tension on his tendons and his body and his joints. Now, I'm no doctor, but you get fatter, things break a little easier. You can hit it 340 for a month. That's amazing. What happens when you don't have a kneecap anymore and it's like on the side of you and it's talking to you? It's just, I don't know. Anyways, that wasn't the only drama that had happened this last week. Saudi Arabia also brought out some of the best things in Phil Mickelson. Phil Mickelson came out with some statements that was a bit daunting and a bit shocking. I mean, to be quite honest with you, Phil Mickelson kind of divulged some information about the PGA Tour and how he's fed up with some of the media rights. And he brought up some things that were kind of, in my eyes, unacceptable. I mean, these guys are independent contractors, and it was explained to, the media, Golf Digest, whoever did this investigative reporting, said that Phil Mickelson had to pay the PGA Tour to be a part of the match. And the match has been one of those events that are pretty unique, pretty special to the game of golf, at least. I mean, it brought out a $9 million match between him and Tiger Woods. It brought out some of the most iconic people in the sports world. It's raised a bunch of money for all kinds of people, raised a bunch of meals for starving kids here in America. And the PGA Tour wanted a taste, wanted a piece of his independent contractor status. And they made him pay $1 million. And it seemed like he was pissed about it. And to be quite honest with you, I would understand. I mean, the PGA Tour has complete and utter exclusive rights to anything that they've done on the PGA Tour on PGA Tour property. And you got to think, like, Phil Mickelson has made the PGA Tour a lot of money. And don't get me wrong, Phil Mickelson has made, I think, hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, he is one of the most highest paid athletes ever, behind Tiger Woods, who's essentially like made $1 billion playing the game. And you got to think, he's made a ton of money for those execs. He's made a ton of money for that organization. He's brought people to the game of golf. He's brought me to the game of golf. Tiger Woods might have influenced me to play golf, but Phil Mickelson's the one reason why I watched. You can watch highlights on ESPN. You can watch highlights on YouTube or wherever else you get highlights. I enjoyed watching Phil Mickelson. He was entertaining. He brought excitement to the game that was relatable. And you got to think, give him some access to those media rights, right? I mean, PGA Tour, you're going to lose an iconic figure who you can tag along with for years. This guy ain't going away because he's the second best golfer currently, right? I would love to hear your opinion. I would love to hear some of your thoughts down in the comment section. Leave us a review if you could do that. That would be greatly appreciated. But getting back to the Saudi International, I mean, not a huge fan of it. I didn't watch any of it, but I did watch a 90-foot putt of Harold Varner III taking down Bubba Watson. I mean, if you're gonna win, you might as well win this way. Sink a 90-footer for eagle and celebrate with your caddy. I mean, it looked like a lineman scooped up a fumble and fucking scored. It was incredible. I mean, HV3, big fan of him. I mean, the dude's just absolutely incredible. Fired up, I think it's his first victory. It's his first Asian Tour victory for sure. Pretty cool for Harold Varner. But I gotta ask him. I would love to have him on the podcast. If anyone could reach out to him, I'd greatly appreciate it. In Saudi Arabia, you're not allowed to do certain things. So, HV3, how'd you celebrate? Because I know it wasn't with a cocktail. Was it with a virgin margarita? Did you have a virgin daiquiri? Did you make the champagne rain? That Spartanelli's cold, hard apple cider? What is it? How did you celebrate? Did you celebrate with the locals? Did you kiss some females? Did you turn up some rap music and dab a little bit? Did you go out and have a barbecue? Did you play loud music? Did you celebrate with your Christian attitude? No, because if you'd have done any of those things, the religious police in Saudi Arabia would have given you lashings or maybe beheaded you. I'd love to know though. Like, how'd you celebrate HV3? I mean, I'm a big fan. You're one of my boys. I represent. It's disappointing though that you didn't go out and play Pebble Beach. I'm kind of pissed. I'm a little ticked. It is what it is. Good for you, HV3. Good to see you get the victory. I know the Saudis were pissed, which is always awesome. I love it. Anyways, what else is on the old agenda? One of the things I like to do, and one of the things that, the criticism train often goes around, and a lot of people like to jab at the PGA Tour. A lot of people like to jab at certain things in certain aspects of the game of golf. And I think if you jab, you got to be able to give a solution. So I wrote down a couple notes in regards to if I was commissioner of the PGA Tour, what would I do about this Saudi league that's popping up? Some of the concerns with some of the players, some of the payouts. After seeing some of the highlights and not watching this particular event out in the beheaded capital of the world, I'm going to say if I'm the PGA Tour commissioner, I'm going to tell my players or my independent contractors, as I like to claim, go for it, guys. Go for it. Go play over there. Just remember, what side of history do you want to be on? Because history might not repeat itself, but history sure as shit does rhyme. And I don't know if you want to be on that side of the world, because the last few hundred years, it hasn't looked great. I'm just saying, if I'm the PGA Tour, I'm letting those guys go. Go for it. Go join another league. Go cash in those millions of dollars. And when that league crashes and burns, because we produce a better product, we have a better fan base, we're going to come up with better announcers. We're hiring the Aloha Press to give the call by call with Jim Nance and Sir Nick. We're going to bring people in, and we're going to be paying our players more. We're going to be giving our fans better access. We're going to give our players back their media rights so they can create their own content, so they can post on their own TikTok. They can produce their own shit with their own shots. And we're going to kill it. Because what we saw this weekend over at the Asian Tour, there were no fans. There were no crowds. There were no ladies. There wasn't a whole lot of energy. Because when you get paid to play, and the lack of drive out there, and the lack of excitement, I mean, besides HV3, you're just writing checks. If I'm one of those players, I'm probably a little bit disappointed in me. But again, I'm not a guy who's being offered hundreds of millions of dollars, or tens of millions of dollars, or millions of dollars, or dollars. Because I'm being offered nothing. So, with that being said, guys, I really appreciate you guys tagging along. This was the second edition. I know it's a hair shorter than my first podcast. I think I rambled a lot in that last one. I think you got the better version. So, with that being said, I know I get fired up, but do me a favor. If you've gotten this far into the podcast, just do me one favor. Leave us a comment, leave us a review, hit the like button, hit the bell, the notification, subscribe, do all those magical things. But the thing I want you to do the most is follow us on social media. I know they suppress our content, but we're going viral on TikTok, and it's pretty fucking amazing. It's so amazing that I'm pretty fired up about it. We've created some new content. The content that's going to be released this week is going to be pretty amazing. It's gonna have a few characters in it, which I'm excited about. But also, we're going to be releasing this week on YouTube and also on TikTok and Instagram Reels is our Wager Wednesday. And as you saw it last week, I almost picked another winner with Joel Damon. It's not too hot with Justin Rose and Cameron Smith, or Cameron Champ, or one of those Camerons, because unfortunately he didn't make the cut. But we're going to be reacting, giving you some info, knowledge, predictions for the Waste Management out in Phoenix, Arizona, which we're excited about. Super Bowl Sundays next week. Fired up. So really appreciate it, guys. And as always, hit bombs, attack pins, and Aloha Press. See you.
wearing all black,
Aloha! Here with JC and Jeff.
Ain't no time for school today.
hitting bombs.
Hey, watch this punch cut lob wedge. Replace your Marshalls with cart girls. They're better looking. They're serving drinks.
Got to hit bombs off the tee.
Phil talking about a guy taking a shit in the cut.
Mahalo!
That's what we did fireside with Phil.
Fire at the stick.
Hit bomb and attack the pin.